thanks for gardening with me. I'm Melissa, and today we're going to talk about tomatoes. The project that I have going on for today is to finish mulching this bed. I'm going to mulch it with pine needles. The pine needles should work really well with the tomatoes. They are a little acidic, but there's not enough acidity in the pine needles to really change the pH of the soil, so I'm not going to worry about that. And I can till it in at the end of the winter or at the end of the fall and not worry about there being any chemicals leaching into my bed or anything like that, because it's all natural. Also, the month of June is a really good month to stay on top of your tomatoes because they can really get away from you. You want to make sure that you cut off all the suckers, and when I get in there I'll show you exactly what those are. Also, I want to go ahead and trim up the bottom few branches of my tomatoes, because if your tomatoes are going to get any kind of a disease, where it usually comes from is watering and then the soil splashing up onto the bottom of the leaves, and anything that's going on in that soil can go on the tomatoes, and that's really where most of the disease starts from. So if you go ahead and prune your tomatoes from the bottom up, it takes care of all that. Also, I planted these tomatoes earlier in the season, didn't show you that, but when you get your tomatoes and you put them in the ground, you want to put them in the ground a little further than they are in the pot, because the tomatoes are unlike many other plants that you will ever plant, and the deeper you plant them in the ground, the more roots that they will get, and the stronger the plant will become. So again, I'm going to go ahead and mulch this bed. I'm going to take away any suckers, look for any kind of disease and prune that away. I'm also going to prune the bottom branches up. So I've laid most of my mulch down, and what I wanted to do was get up close on this tomato plant. As you can see, it's very healthy, doing very well. There are a couple suckers that I wanted to show you, and here is one. Hopefully you can see it. Now, it doesn't look like much right now, but especially in the month of June, they can really just explode. And once they do, what'll happen is your plant will still get tomatoes, but it will just get fewer, well, I wouldn't say fewer tomatoes, but they just won't be as nice and hearty. Here's another one, if I can come around the back of it and show you. And that one is definitely a little longer. And you can cut them. I find it just as easy to pinch them off with your nails. Now, I do not just throw anything like that on the ground, because anytime you do clippings and then just leave them on the ground, you just invite pests, and we don't want to do that. Oop, I just broke that one, and I just broke that one, and maybe that one, but it'll be okay. And now what I'm going to do is go ahead and go to the bottom of this plant, which you can see there are stems that are very close to the bottom. And what'll happen is when I water, the water will splash up. You can even see on this one, it's got a few little holes from where bugs been nibbling on it. So what I want to do is just go ahead and cut that, and it's got a sucker on it too. Go ahead and cut that off. This one has a sucker on it as well. I'm going to cut that off. And this time of year it might be a little intimidating to do that because they're sometimes bigger branches, but they're just going to take away from the health of the tomato plant in the long run. And I think I'm going to go ahead and take that one off too. Now you can see we have a plant that is much cleaner on the bottom. It's not going to have as many pests going after it. It's a nice and healthy plant. We've got Little tomato buds coming up there. This has got flowers on it as well. And that one's got a couple little baby tomatoes on it. So exciting! So there you have it. The tomatoes are all taken care of and ready to go. I will be out here checking on them every couple days just to keep an eye on the suckers. Also trellis them up if I need to. They are on these tomato cages, which, as you can see, some of them may end up outgrowing the cages, so I may have to come back in here and stake them up a little bit better. But they look really good. There's a few of them that probably could use more of the lower branches pruned off, but I'm going to wait until the plant gets a little bit taller. In the heat of the summer, when you're watering your vegetable garden, it's best to do it early in the morning before the heat is on them, or later in the afternoon. If you do come out midday and see that your plants are wilting a little bit and they need some water, if you're going to water them from the ground. Think of yourself as being out at the pool in the heat of the summer all day, and then someone comes up and splashes you with cold water. It's shocking. But if you were to be handed a glass of ice water, it would be quite refreshing. And it's kind of the same thing with your tomatoes and actually your flowers, everything. If you're going to water them in the heat of the day, make sure that you just put the water on the roots, on the ground, and that will help ease any kind of shock that they may have from the sun. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for gardening with me, and I hope you have a blessed week.